Talk radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
All right, welcome, Fade to Black. How you doing? How you doing? Today is Thursday, August 10th, 2023. And tonight's, well, we had a little, some technical issues for the last half hour with our guest tonight, Stephen Halpern. He's great. I've known Stephen for years, but just issues. And, you know, when that happens, I do sound check every night at 6:30. And that's it. And we've got, 30 minutes, 25 minutes to go through a sound check. Most of the time, it's just a couple of minutes and we have a chat. But it's there for technical issues. And we had them tonight. It's very rare, as we know. But the show must go on. And Stephen is great. We'll get Stephen rescheduled. I've got his music and everything. The show was set up and ready to go. But it's one of those things, and I don't freak out anymore. I just don't do it. So, let's do an AMA. It's that simple. So tonight we're going to do an AMA, and I guess, what this does, it enables us to squeeze in our monthly AMA, and we'll do that tonight. I know that the mods, Jonacide and Bill, in the chat are letting everybody know, put your questions in all caps. All right. Put your questions in all caps. And I want you to help support the show. And you can do that by getting T-shirts. It's very simple. Fade to Black T-shirts. The links are below. Man, look, I'm all sunburnt. I'm sunburnt for this weekend in Palm Springs. Put your questions in all caps, and then I will get to everything. I'm scrolling backwards now and to see if there are any questions. I mark them and then I go back and do it that way. I have a way of highlighting, and then I can see it. I can see it in the scroll. So there you go. Put your questions in all caps. Thank you for reminding everybody. I see that most Jonacide, Jimmy, favorite memory of Soul Tech. Oh man, what? Have you ever read The Conscious? Okay, so yes, the questions are coming in. I am marking them. Put them in all caps. That's in YouTube or wherever you are at. You can go ahead and do it. Put it in all caps. I will see it. And there you go. Okay. Let's see. Kelly Jean said, love Stephen Halpern. Stephen's great. I've known Stephen for a long time. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to start lining these up now. And let's, there you go. Okay. I'll slowly start to get through the questions and get to everybody. All right. So tonight, an AMA. Earlier today, I was on with Christina Gomez, and she's amazing. She's really turned into quite the host. And today we did on her show, Histories with a Mystery. As everybody knows, we do that every week on Thursdays. And today she wanted to cover what is going on in Peru. And we can certainly discuss that tonight. That is a crazy situation that is going on down there. And David Grush and The Intercept. And I very rarely these days, let me just say this. Twitter, X, it's called X now, Twitter. I used to, and this was years ago. I used to put my thoughts on Twitter and engage with everybody. Twitter in the last, certainly the last year, but the last couple of years, but I started posting less and less on Twitter because hang on. I had to use my facial recognition on my cell phone. I've got a smart house now, and I'm literally adjusting my temperature. As you can see, it's 74 degrees in here. It's a little bit too hot. So I just got that out of the way. I stopped because it was Twitter started to get a little bit funky, and I would just post something. Man, I had a glass of chocolate milk today. It was delicious. And then, man, right? It's just, man, you must be a government shill. Chocolate milk, right? And so I just post stuff. And you know, my team that helps me out with social media, just post stuff about the show, what's upcoming, and I'll go and read comments and spend time doing that. But and I'll check out what everybody else is doing. Not completely; it would take up my entire day. But my personal thoughts, no. But today I was compelled. I just couldn't. You know what? Sometimes you have to make a stand. And this journalist, air quotes, journalist, his name is Ken Klippenpuffer. All right. So Ken Klippenpuffer of the Intercept decided to post an article attacking David Grush and his mental health. No. And I'm sorry. This is where I put my foot down. So I tweeted out, and the tweet was, dude, Ken Klippenpuffer. I'm not going to say his real name because, well, it's Klippenpuffer now because he's a puffer. Ken Klippenpuffer. Please find another job. Your moral compass is not working. And you really need to think about your direction in life and how your pursuit of clicks has an effect on people, their lives, family, and well-being. Seriously, get a life. That was my tweet. And I don't, you know, and I just don't go there anymore on social media. And what is really weird, so I pop that out there. It's got its comments, and I 100% supporting, by the way. I think I haven't read through all the comments, but we need to make a stand. This is, and I copied, I tagged the Intercept, right? And I think that we should all do this. I think that the Intercept needs to understand what they are doing. You just don't do that. You want to go after the subject? Fine. His comment, whatever. That's fine. That's journalism. You want to do an opinion piece? Do that. You want to do an editorial? Do that. But don't attack somebody's mental health or issues that they had in the past or things that they were working out of their medical situation. That's not what you do. That's a smear campaign. That's a Philip Glass. That's an intelligence community tactic. You know, go after the person. And that is just wrong. And especially the way that they did it. And they knew, the Intercept saw the reaction. Ross Coulthart and others were commenting that the Intercept was about to do this piece and based on his medical records. And they saw this coming. They knew it. And at that point, you would think, now this makes me question the editorial staff and who is running the Intercept, where they're going to sit around and discuss what's about to be published. And they do this, and they're going to sit around and go, yeah, we have somebody's medical records. Let's publish this. Let's go. When is that A, ethically acceptable? B, when is that good journalism? And C, is it for clicks? Is this a money issue that you're going to interject yourself into UAP and UFOs and disclosure and the congressional hearings and the witnesses and take this tack? You're going to tack as in move a boat, right? A sailboat. You're going to tack in that direction and you're going to go there? No, I will not stand for it. And I don't think any of us should. And that's it. There is a bar that you need to, an editorial standard you need of excellence. And you're going to put the bar down below your feet and you're going to cross it in that direction. Is it really, that's where you're at? Intercept? Can clip in puffer? So I think all of us, everybody listening to me and earlier today on Christina's show, tweet The Intercept. Go and like my tweet, make a comment, share it. Don't create your own. Don't share mine. Just create your. It'd be better if you created your own. Tag me in it. I'll share it. Man, I am infuriated. I am so angry about this. So angry. You don't have to agree with. You don't have to agree with anybody. That's the freedom of the world, right? Look at the evidence presented. He did this under oath. He said what he said. Okay. All right. Now, agree with that, disagree with that, comment on that, write up all the editorial you want. That's fine. It's freedom of speech. But don't go after somebody's medical past in history, especially what this is about. PTSD. Man. Oh. Oof. There's zero integrity there. I mean, I'll get to questions in a second. How do you sleep at night, David or Ken Clip and Puffer? How do you sleep at night where you think that this was the right thing to do? There are no excuses. No excuses. One more comment on this before I move on, because, man, I could spend the entire show pissed off about this. I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. I've learned from those mistakes. And I've had to do drastic things to go and try to fix stuff. I get that. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm going to tell it right now. You know what's right and what's wrong. And doing something like this, you know what's wrong, but you don't give a crap. You just want the clicks, right? You want your ego fed. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I cannot believe that this went down. And if this is where journalism is headed, and you find it okay to go and do something like this, whatever happens, happens. This is not going to have a good ending. I'm just telling you right now. There's going to be a lot of blowback from this. This is where the community just needs to get united. The world. Okay, so I'm going to leave that right there for now. I'll probably have some more thoughts before the end of the show. And if you've got questions about this, go ahead and post it, and I will get to it. Okay. Let's get to I wanted to. Okay, so the other night I spilled coffee on my old console. I almost wanted to get up and pick it up and bring it over here. It's big Mackie, and sparks flew. Man, blew it up. I did. I blew this thing up, and luckily I had another the console that I'm using here. I had a spare in my little rehearsal room that I have set up. So I went and grabbed that, plugged it in, show happened, and it's cool. Things are working. My new console, the replacement one, it happens to be exactly what I needed for so many different reasons. But let me explain this. And it's sitting right over there. Number one, it has mute lights. Now, what's a mute light? Well, when you mute a channel like this, right, it lights up. My old console, as fancy as it was, believe it or not, the mute buttons didn't have a light next to it. This, the actual button lights up. Same company, by the way. Same. It's the new version of the same console. So there's that. The other thing, and this is, I know this sounds strange, but professional consoles, they plug all of your jacks and everything, they plug in from the back. Semi-pro and small format consoles, the plugs are on the top. It's cheaper to make it that way, the circuit board and everything. I get that. I understand. This, all the plugs go in the back. So I don't have anything visible, and it's going to feed off the back of my desk here. I'm so excited about this. It fits underneath my monitors, which I have a 6-inch clearance here. It's little things like that. I am so excited about rewiring, and I've got to clean things up a little bit. Got to do a little house cleaning. So that's what I'm going to do this weekend. I'm going to rewire the studio. Very excited about this. I've got mute lights. I've got solo lights. I'm so excited about this. You have no idea. And it's man, and it's even a little bit smaller than my other one. Same price though, but it's smaller and very excited. Okay. So that's that. Let's get to the questions. First up tonight, Jonaside says, Jimmy, favorite memory of Soltech, not the beer can. It's been 5 years this week. Really? That was 5 years ago. My favorite memory. Did we do 2 Soltechs or just one? We did one, right? Okay. I am one of the gnomes that were put around my RV. That was pretty cool. Woke up in the morning and there was 100 little garden gnomes around. That was pretty cool. The other parts of it, we were talking about it this weekend. I'm talking about Billy Carson, him being there, and his for the first time seeing something in the sky. That was pretty cool. His reaction to that. You next to the fire pit, I'm talking about Genocide, and he goes, man, check out my new tattoo. And he shows me the Fade to Black logo on the side of his shin. It's like, wow. And it's really well done. That's a memory I will never forget. I've got pictures of it. But that was just a great weekend. You know what? The Hornets or the Hornets. Remember the Hornets? The bees in the food line, and it turned out there was like a hornet's nest or a bee's nest out in the middle of the field, and we had to get rid of that. And I was out there getting chased. Oh man, that was pretty nuts. And I got bit on my hand, and I watched the hornet land on my hand. And I looked down and I looked at him and I thought, okay, so what do I do? And right as I wasn't doing anything, I was just looking at him on my hand. His tail went up and he went boom, and stung me as I'm looking at him. Yeah. All right. So, but that was a great weekend. We had so much fun. The fair, man, that was just intense. It was so much fun. So thank you for reminding me of that, Genocide. Next up, this is from Lynn Davis. Lynn says, have you ever read The Conscious Ear by Alfred Tomatis? No, I have not. I will look it up. I have not read it. Right now, I am in the middle of Joseph Campbell's The Man with a Thousand Faces, the book about the hero's journey. And what's interesting about this book, I'm just mentioning this because of this question from Lynn Davis here. Lynn, I will look that up and check it out. I would like to know what it's all about. Is Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey and its effect on storytellers, on Hollywood, on filmmaking, and other things, poetry, and, the creative mind. Its influence on modern artists, I don't think it can be measured. It's one of those things. I can imagine that it's required reading in film school today, screenwriting, playwriting, all of that. But the book was written in 1949. That's right. 1949. And I read it, seriously, like, focused on it and read it about 2 years ago. And then I've been kind of thumbing through it over the last year or so. It's a great reference book, but it has come up on the show so many times over the last month that I went and I grabbed it. And this is 3 days ago. And now I'm reading it again. And it's amazing that this book was written in 1949, because as you're reading, it feels like the way that it's written, like it was written like this week. It doesn't have that dated feel to it. 1949, 80 years ago. Wow. Incredible book, The Man with a Thousand Faces. So I think that everybody in our community should read it. It's a pretty amazing book. So that's what I'm doing now. Okay. Next up, this is from Phil the Stalker. What does Phil have to ask tonight? He says, what do you think about when you're by yourself? What do I think about when I'm by myself? Okay. This is where, let's just be honest. It's just us. Okay. It's just us here. Right. What do I think about? You know what I think about a lot? Finding a science fiction movie that will be great that I've never seen before. It's gotten difficult. And I think about this a lot. And it doesn't matter, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And my movie collection and what I've got and what I'll rewatch, but then try to fill in the blanks. And I'll do searches. This happens probably once a week. Like, do a Google the greatest science fiction films of all time list, right? And go through IMDb's science fiction list and go through and find, man, I've seen almost everything. All of those black and white B movies from the 50s and 60s, Attack of the Worm Monster from the Moon, whatever. I've seen it all. It's becoming difficult. Yeah. It's becoming difficult. And once in a while, I'll find a gem. The other day, it's about a week ago, and I just finished it. I found a TV series from 2015 called Ascension. And I got the series. I watched, like, how you can pull it up and see. I started the first episode. And I watched like 2 minutes of it. Something distracted me. I don't know what it was, but I stopped watching it. I don't know why I did. But it's called Ascension. And it's about a ship that was built in 1963, breakaway civilization, that was secretly launched from Earth and staffed with 600 people, scientists and things. and sent out to go and colonize a planet, and that it would be 3 or 4 generations on down the line. So everybody that was an adult that was put on the ship would not obviously arrive there, or their children or their children's children. And then, so it starts there. It's pretty, that part is awesome. And then it picks up at today, which is 53 years into the flight, 51 years, 51 years into the flight. Somebody gets murdered. There's a murder on the ship. That's all I'm going to say. You go and watch this here, but I had never seen it before. And that, Phil the Stalker, is what I think about. And if I hadn't gone and looked at science fiction series as well as movies, things that I hadn't seen before, this was one, Ascension. And it's just incredible. Incredible. So there you go. That's what I think about. Besides which guitar needs fresh strings and stuff. So, all right. Let's see. What do we have up next? Jimmy, I think the megalithic structures were built using sound. What do you think? I think there's a good chance of that, Paul. I don't know. I'm going to be in Peru in November. And what's built down there is just as extraordinary, if not more so, than any megalithic site that you can think of. And, Stonehenge, of course, Egypt, Baalbek in Lebanon, which that is still completely mind-blowing and perplexing. That's the biggest carved stones ever in the history of everything. We're talking about thousands of tons, so big that when the Romans arrived in Israel, and Greek, Roman, that they used those stones for the foundation of their temples. That's how big and extraordinary they are. So, but yeah, how were those things moved? Yeah. Sound is one of the things that comes to mind. And I mean, also specifically about Peru, were they not stone at the time? Or what did they have a way of liquefying it? Did they have a way to change the composition to get those into shape? Because they look like they're molded and pushed together like clay. Take a bunch of balls of clay and then you know what I mean? It seems like that, but how did they get moved? I think sound comes into play. Now, where did the sound come from? See, that's the other thing. We can postulate on that. We can postulate. Okay. So, right. And we've seen sound can levitate and cause things to rise, piece of tissue paper, put it on a speaker and crank up the low frequencies. We know that this occurs and you can feel it. But where did the sound come from? Now, let's say that sound did move the stone walls in Cusco, right? That they moved the blocks in Egypt. That's how they transported the obelisk and stuff. It was, but where'd the sound come from? I don't know. I think sound is a big possibility for that. So, okay, let's see. I'm not reading these up in Michael, with the latest UAP disclosure, Bob Lazar more believable? Not really. No. Not for me. There's too many issues with Bob. Now, look let's pull something out of the box that's not UFO related. But let's say something like this. 30 years ago, somebody says a date, writes a date down, and says earthquake. 30 years ago, somebody writes down lottery numbers, right? Writes that down, whatever. And then on that day, 30 years later, the lottery numbers are picked as guessed by somebody, right? The earthquake happens on that day. Now, what does that mean? Right? Is somebody a prophet or is it just luck? Right? So with Bob and element 115, and it's not discovered yet, but you know that eventually there's going to be an element 115. Eventually it's going to get there, right? Whether it's natural or artificial, whether it's created in a lab or brought here on a meteorite, doesn't matter. But element 115 it's going to get there. One day there's going to be a 197. All right. Oh, Jimmy predicted element 197 back in 2023. No. UFOs, ET is real, and it's coming to this planet. It's been talked about way before Bob Lazar and way after. So what? You know, I saw a UFO the other day in Palm Springs. It was great. It was awesome. And bright orange comes across, takes off, goes into the stars. What does that have to do with Bob Lazar? All right. So that's it. The backwards engineering of craft was talked about way before Bob. You can go to numerous books and things, and it's been talked about for a very long time. And lots of theories out there behind it. So no, Bob didn't plant any flag there. Area 51, Dreamland, the ranch, it was kept officially from the public for a lot of reasons, but we all knew it was there. So it's not like, you know, and anything else. So no, it doesn't change it. Now, having Bob say, "I told you so" in that video, that was a great video. Cool. Good for Bob. He seems like a nice guy. I just think that it got out of control. It got out of hand with him, and he had to kind of stick to the story. So that's my take on that, and it's not going to change. Philip Swain says, "Do you meditate?" No, not officially, but I did meditate this weekend. But do I sit every single day and burn incense and play music and sit down and lotus position and zone out for 15 minutes? No, I don't officially meditate, but I did walk a labyrinth this weekend. And the walk itself, it probably takes, by the time you go in and out, it's probably 15, 20 minutes. All right. So I'm there and I've got about 10 people with me. We're all going to do the walk. No talking, just you and your thoughts. Walk the path, get to the center, leave a gift, turn around, walk the path out. All right. And that's a pretty intense thing to do because you literally have 15 or 20 minutes of just you in your head, you in your mind. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it. But do I meditate? No, I don't actually meditate. Thank you for that, though. That's a great question. But I don't do it. Let's see. Oh, Renee Newman's in the house. Renee. All right. What has Renee got here? Jimmy, what are you most looking forward to seeing, experiencing during your Peru trip? Machu Picchu. Now, all of the walls and things. Yes, I get that. Okay, wait. No, it's a tie. I just lied. It's a tie. Machu Picchu, of course. Nazca lines. Yeah. Last month, I do this about once a month. I do. I watched Chariots of the Gods by the film. It's one of the greatest documentaries ever made. And if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's an unbelievable documentary. 1972, Eric Von Daniken. But the scene, the part of the film where they're flying over the Nazca lines, you can see the shadow of the plane below on the desert floor and flying around looking at it. I am going to do that. I'm going to be in a plane and I'm going to do what I've been watching in that film since I was a little kid. I'm very excited about that. And they found so many more, hundreds more. Yes. So that's kind of a tie. Machu Picchu, Nazca lines, Machu Picchu, Nazca lines. I'm going to Pumapunku. I'm going to get to see the H blocks. So there's all of that. Oh, well, I forgot about the H blocks. So it's a 3-way tie. Pumapunku, Nazca lines, and Machu Picchu. Yeah. If I think about it, there's going to be a 4-way tie here. But thank you for that, Renee. Nazca lines, right? How can you top that? Well, you would probably top that with Machu Picchu. How would you top that? Pumapunku. Right? So, yeah, thank you for that, Renee. Everybody say hello to Renee. That's right. That's Renee Newman. All right. Let's see. Did you get the spill-proof cup holder? Yes, it's right here. That's who sent me the spill-proof cup holder. There it is, right there. And see, look. Perfect. Thank you for that. And that is from Disclosure Fest. That is Adrian. He's listening now. Adrian is the best. The question is, Adrian, are you reading Joseph Campbell? I'm going to leave that right there. All right. Let's see. Jimmy Dore, so cultureless. Yeah, his name is Ken Klippenpuffer. Ken Klippenpuffer. Everybody go and check it out. Okay. Are there any, this is from Stacy Schneider. Hello, Stacy. Are there any UFO conferences for us in NorCal? There is a sort of the New Living Expo, which happens up there. I think it was a couple of months ago. But the New Living Expo, they do a little UFO. It's more about crystals and new agey stuff. But UFOs are discussed there. Any other major NorCal? Stay with me on that. Something else is popping into my head. And, Mount Shasta, which is, on the border of Oregon, still in California. They have UFO conferences up there quite often, too. Again, on the new agey side, lots of crystals, Lemuria, things like that. But UFOs are also a great topic in Shasta. So, yes, but the New Living Expo is what you want to do. All right, let's see. Sarah Ann in the house. Sarah Ann, Jimmy, what is the spookiest thing that you have experienced so far in 2023? Oh, let me think about this, because I've had a few. But let's go with the scariest. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. Because I'm still doing it. So it was in 2023. The layout. I saw a ghost. All right, with my own eyes. Well, in a mirror. Okay. So I have a hallway. If you go out of the bunker here and then go out, and then there's a hallway that goes to the back of the house. And that hallway, at the end of the hallway, there's double doors, and that goes into my little band room. I've got drums in there. I've got a PA system, bass amp, guitar amps, instruments, and stuff. And it's double doors. So those open, and I always kept those open. It's not a single door, right? It's a double door. So the entrance to the room is big. All right. So you can see right into the room. All right. Now, as you're facing those double doors and looking in at the drums, to the left is a bathroom. And that bathroom door is not flat in the hallway. It's at an angle. Okay. So you go, it's weird. You have to understand there's like a V cut out, right? And this is a wall and this is a door in the hallway. You have to see it. But anyway, so you go down that hallway, you turn left into this little alcove and go into the bathroom. When you open up the bathroom door, there's a mirror that covers the whole back wall of the bathroom. There's a shower, sink, two sinks, and then the toilet. And so when you go in, because of the angle of the door, and if it's open, you can see in the mirror the two open doors that are down at the end of the hall that are open. Okay. All right. So you got the setup. So I'm going to go to the bathroom. I go down the hallway, make the left, go into the bathroom. And as I'm facing the mirror, I haven't started going to the bathroom yet. It's a good thing I didn't. In the mirror, I see a shadow, a black shadow go whoop, walk through those double doors in that room. And I jumped back. I screamed. I jumped back. And then I turned around and looked into the double doors. And I went down and shut both doors. Adrenaline rush. And I turn on all the lights. Now, because of that, I'm looking at it right now, the light switch for the hallway. Right there. I will not walk down that hallway without turning on the light now. It scared me and in that room, there's a night light that's down on the floor. And, night light that you plug in and it turns on when the room is dark. And there was there was nothing in there. I went in and looked. I'm glad I didn't see anything, but it scared me to death. So much so that for the last, 5-6 months, I turn on that hall light. I will not go down that hallway without that light being turned on. I won't go into the bath. The light in the hallway turns on. I go down into the bathroom and then turn on that light. And I wish I could bring the camera down to show you that the double doors that lead into the studio, those are closed right now. Those are closed. And that's it. That's how I dealt with it. Okay. Let's see. Ask your questions in all caps. Thank you for that. All right. Philip Swain, steak, rare, medium, or well done. I'm rare, medium rare. Yeah, right there. Yeah, medium rare is sometimes too medium. You know how I like my steak, honestly? Psst, psst, off the grill. Psst, psst. Just a psst, psst. And that's how I eat it. So there you go. Thank you for that. Let's see here. That's a weird question. Yeah. Have you ever met Christina in person? I have not. Nope. Never met Christina. Probably never will. Yeah, we've never met. That's it. I stumbled upon Christina. So when I had my big breakup and I moved up to NorCal before this place. And so I was up there for about 2-3 months and doing my thing, got the new bunker set up and hanging out with my brother and his family up there. It was cool. And that's somehow, it was with the debrief. And so, reading the debrief and talking to Micah and doing this, and then I see Christina doing the news or something with the debrief. And that's how I got introduced to Christina, was through the debrief. And then maybe a month or two after that, she asked if she can interview me, and we did, and that's how it all started. But no, I've never met her. Never met her. As soon as she, she's been talking about graduating, and when she graduates college, and her RV, and she's going to be off and gone, and that'll be that. So you never know. I just, can you show us the yellow guitar? Which one? Do I have a yellow guitar? Which one? It's not even on camera. Down on the other end of the room, I don't have anything yellow. Oh, are you talking about this? The Eddie Van Halen, the yellow and black one? I don't know which yellow guitar you're talking about, but that's this is the Van Halen 2 guitar. If this is the one you're talking about. This is from Van Halen 2. It's called the Bumblebee. And this is the only guitar that I have a D-tuner on. It's a great guitar. Cool guitar. If that's the one you're talking about, I don't have a yellow. I don't know what you could be talking about. That's the only thing that I have that's well, I've got the George Lynch, but that's way down there. I'm not going to get up and go get it. So there you go. All right. Let's see. Medium rare. Let's see. Next up, biscuit or cake. Hi, Jimmy. Wendys hamburgers are coming to Australia. How good are they? Number 3 on my list of burgers. I like Wendys. Okay, so let me tell you how to order a Wendys. All right, now you've got to be specific with Wendys. First off, they're square. They're square burgers. That's cool. It's also fresh. Not as good as Tommy's, not as good as In-N-Out, but up there. Wendys is a good burger. So congratulations on that. But you've got to do it a specific way. First off, no cheese. That's me. I get the Wendys, it's called the Dave's Double. Get the Dave's Double, but no cheese. And get it just straight up. Onions, tomatoes, lettuce, ketchup, mustard, pickle, but no cheese. I don't know. For some reason, the cheese on the Wendys burgers changes it. It's got this taste. But you've got to get it with an order of fries and a chocolate frosty. Yep. That takes me right back to my childhood. Okay. Let's see here. Man, there's a lot of stuff here. You guys are just chatting it up, aren't you? Okay. All questions and there's a lot of you guys are chatting it up tonight. Yep, I did. I blew up my board. I did. Okay. Jimmy, have you ever considered a spill-proof cup? You know what's bad about at least the ones that I used to have that had the small and then they were like angled on the bottom like this. And you can't wash those things. Too hard to keep clean. Yeah, even in the dishwasher, just no. This is it. Paper cup. I've got my holder now. So yeah, the spill-proof cups were shaped like this. You remember? Yeah, too hard to wash. Oh man. Okay. All right. Let's see. This is from Marjorie Hickey. Jimmy, should Pat Boone be put into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Absolutely, 100%. And I'll tell you why. First off, he's rock and roll. Pat Boone is rock and roll. He did a rock and roll. He did a heavy metal album. And I was over at Rob Halford's house. And Rob goes, and he unwraps it, and he goes, Pat Boone just did a cover version of You've Got Another Thing Coming. The Judas Priest song. I said, no way. What? And so he goes, we got to listen to it. So we put it on, and we listened. Rob and I listened to this. He heard it for the first time along with me. And it's a big band. Da, 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 da. You got it. It was awesome. And for Pat to be able to do that, now that was 1995, 1996, I'm guessing. Pat Boone, just for that, should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, 100%. And that was great. That was from Marjorie Hickey. Thank you for that, Marjorie. That is an awesome. Yeah, he should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I need to go back and do the update and read everybody that's been inducted and who is still left off so I can do a show on that so I can vent and get more and more pissed off. So let's see here. Okay. It's from Wayne. Wayne says, are you familiar with Marfa Lights in West Texas? I am. Has anyone figured out the mystery of the lights? I don't think so. I just finished, I'm in a film about the Marfa Lights. I can't comment any more about that because it's not my film. I'm not part of the production company and all of that, but we just finished filming. And the Marfa Lights is interesting. I don't, what's strange to me about the Marfa Lights is today skeptics and debunkers will say, well, it's car lights. Often the Marfa Lights were around way before there were cars and trucks. So that doesn't answer that. And that includes the Min lights out in Australia, which I think are a very similar phenomenon. But you can't explain away hundreds of years of sightings like you have with the Marfa Lights that predate the automobile, and say that's what they are. I don't know what's going on. There's been a lot of research put into it, and I don't know. The Min lights and the Marfa Lights are very similar. But we also have the Brown Mountain Lights on the East Coast in the Smoky Mountains. That's a phenomenon. The areas around Joshua Tree. Look what's going on at Skinwalker Ranch, right? Where you have or Joshua Tree or so many other locations throughout the United States and around the world where you can be standing and looking at something off in the distance at night and see the lights, and then next day know that there isn't a road out there, right? There's nothing out there. What is lighting up out there? It's is it ball lightning? Is it something to do with some electromagnetic energy? Is it I don't know. Is it spirits? Is it interdimensional? Is it a UFO? I don't know. But there is something going on out there. Look at Dulce. There are areas around the country where these lights are seen constantly. The Brown Mountain Lights, it's a phenomenon. Sweden, Switzerland, Norway, where these lights are up in the mountains where there are no roads. There's nothing there. There's no humanity, but something is being seen. So I don't know. I love the Marfa Lights. I haven't been to West Texas to go and see the Marfa Lights personally, but I have researched it for years. So much so that I was asked to come in on this film and speak about it just a bit. But yeah, I don't know. But they've been around way before planes, trains, and automobiles. Okay, let's see. Looking at the clock. Lavira Lucchini. Is it Lucchini or Lucchini? Jimmy, do you think more politicians will now seek out UFO podcasts for info? I think they're doing that now. Which ones? I don't know about other UFO podcasts besides myself and Christina. I'm sure that there's a lot. When I started, it was just me. It was me at Coast to Coast. And there was nothing else going on out there. Now there's a lot, and I'm sure that there are some really good ones. But they should be listening. When you hear when you at the UFO hearing, when you hear the name of, and in this case it was Accidental Truth, Ron James movie, you hear that mentioned, that they're paying attention. You just know this. When just recently the film Nope, Jordan Peele, his new film, go and watch that and listen to the things that are said in that film and tell me that they are not listening to Fade to Black. I'm just telling you, it was like a big Fade to Black show, and I enjoy that. And I'm sure that politicians are doing the same thing. And are they paying attention to Fade to Black? Well, they should, and they probably are. But that more and more, where are you going to go for real truth? Real truth. Where are you going to go? You're going to go to things like this. So, yeah, I am sure that they are paying attention 100%. I think that's a really good point. I think a lot about cake. Let's see, this is from Garage. Have you ever seen Metropolis? 50 times. Love that movie. Oh, when was that movie made? I'm going to say 1920, 25. Love that film. Great film, silent film. Great film. So, yes, the answer is yes. I don't know. You watch Metropolis and you think about, here, let me pull up the date. I can't scroll to the end of the chat, but let's go. You're going to hear me type in real time. See, I'm looking at the camera and typing at the same time. How good I type. Okay, so Metropolis, 1927. 1927. And I'm going to click on some images. You look at what they were doing in 1927. Also, I'm going to pull this up. Let's see if I can pull up this image and get this full screen. Okay, this is Roger Ebert. All right. Now look at this. Let's see here. All right. I don't have anything up that is going to freak people out. So let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go share. Boom. Done. Look at that. Got a T-Mobile ad there. Let's pull this down. Can I click on that and it disappeared? Ads by Google. All right, whatever. Look at this image. All right. Let me see if I can. Nah, I can't blow it up. Okay. But look at that image. That's 1927. And the whole movie is done that way. Where the vision came from and how you're going to get this kind of cinema done back then is absolutely incredible. So you have that part. Second, there was a robot in the background, and I was in Santa Monica. I'm walking up the street, and I walk past this storefront, and that robot that you just saw in the picture is in this window. I thought it was for sale. So I go and I tried to get in, and I couldn't. I couldn't get in. It turned out that it was somebody's space that they were just keeping their stuff in. I rung the doorbell, and this guy comes out and he goes, "No, man, I don't let anybody in here." I said, "No, I gotta look through this stuff. I'm so and so," and he let me in. I flipped him a 20, and I went up to that robot for Metropolis. But yeah, pretty cool. Love that movie. And let's see here. Let's see who is up next. I'm scrolling past. I hope I'm not missing a question. Okay. This is Jamie C. Jimmy, do you think the pyramids can make sounds inside? If that makes sense. I don't know. Not sure if I fully have I heard anything inside of the pyramids in Egypt. I haven't heard a lot of oming, people oming in there. It does resonate at certain frequencies for sure, and just it's booming. But that goes with any space, any indoor space. But could they? I don't know. If you put an electrical charge through a granite block at a certain point, it's probably going to vibrate and create sound. So could in the King's Chamber, right, the box, there's a lot of theories behind it, but could you put the arc in there, right? And could the arc charge up and light up the pyramid and at that point? So that's a really good question, Jamie. So don't think that that's not a good question. It's an excellent question, and things do resonate. Have you seen the movie Keep from the 80s? Doesn't ring a bell. Keep. The Keep? I don't know about Keep, but The Keep seems like something I have seen. Okay, this is, I'm going to get to a break here in just a second. Jessica Rodriguez. Right now, Jessica is wearing her Fade to Black crew shirt. She got the official Fade to Black crew shirt. I feel a sneeze. Jimmy, it doesn't say Jimmy, Jessica, do you think that Star Trek is really what happens in the secret space programs? I don't. Okay. Can I talk about Star Trek for a second? My short answer to that would be no. But maybe. The latest episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds is a musical. Have you guys seen that yet? I watched it last night. after the show. It's friggin' musical. I don't want to give it. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. When it started off with them, I'm like, where are they going with this? And Captain Pike starts singing on the bridge. Yeah. Broadway musical. Oh, love. Yeah. It was a trip. It's a trip. I don't want to say anymore. You got to watch it. It's pretty cool. There is something about Star Trek that it's a strange prediction of the future. Things have happened because of Star Trek. The other part of Star Trek, and that includes Discovery too as well, and is that it's a social commentary. So you take what's going on in real time, the issues of society, and you weave that into science fiction, and then you enjoy the science fiction part, but then you have the social commentary about us and ourselves. And it's a harsh look at reality. And that's the other thing about Star Trek that I find very, very interesting. Go and watch Star Trek, the original series from the 60s. Go and watch that. And it is a play on society set in science fiction. I rather enjoy that part of it. So the new Strange New World, I'm really digging it. Yeah, it's fantastic. And that musical last night was off the hook. Okay. I am going to take a quick break. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Stay with us. Tonight's our AMA. Put your questions in all caps. I'll get to them. Stay with us. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Please visit all of our sponsors. We're taking a quick break here. All of the links are below. We'll be right back.
Join us November 10th, 11th, and 12th, 2023 as Disclosure Fest Foundation and Fade to Black Radio presents Stairway to the Stars, a Human Origins Science and Technology Expo, live at the Luxor Hotel and Casino on the Las Vegas Strip. With live talks, lectures, and workshops by world-acclaimed researchers and authors. This is Jimmy Church, by the way, and I'll be your host all weekend long. Featuring topics like human origins, ancient technologies, indigenous teachings, workshops, a mass meditation, yoga and sound healing, music, and so much more. Don't miss our intimate sky watch and meteor shower over the infamous Area 51 airspace in Rachel, Nevada, with special surprise celebrity hosts guiding us through the night. Also introducing our Disclosure Fest VR Starship area with dozens of rides. You've got to check it out. This event will sell out. For more information and tickets, please visit disclosurefest.org.
Hi, everybody. Jimmy Church here. Very special announcement, and that is we are shipping Fade to Black T-shirts again. It's been almost 2 years. We did a full upgrade to the website, so you can head over to jimmychurchradio.com. It's all simple to do, and it's right there. Remember, we broadcast 4 nights a week, Monday through Thursday. We bring you the best, the brightest, the most knowledgeable and amazing guests, the best conversations. We do that 4 nights a week. We also do 4 days a week. We broadcast the news, and we do that live too as well. It's not a one-man show. I do it with website support. I do it with producers. I do it with writers and artists. All contribute to the show. The best way to help support what we do here is with the Fade to Black T-shirt. And you can get your Fade to Black T-shirt one of 2 ways. First, go to jimmychurchradio.com, order a shirt. It's really that simple. You're going to get a tracking number, it's going to get shipped, and it's going to get autographed. The second way to get a shirt is with a Game Changer membership. Now, the Game Changer membership not only includes a free T-shirt, but you get a private email to me. You get unlimited commercial-free downloads. You have full access to the website, and everything includes free shipping, and everything is autographed. So help support the show. Get your Fade to Black t-shirt today. The links are below. You can just go to jimmychurchradio.com, and it's right on the website. So there you go. I'm Jimmy Church, Fade to Black. I'm so excited that I just have one thing to say. Go Backley Tappy. River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com. All right. Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight we're doing an AMA. And so post your questions in all caps in the chat, and I will get to them. Let's see. Jimmy, can I say... I'm going to pop this up. Jimmy, can I say something that will make you and everyone in the chat mad regarding Grush? It's a free country. It might get you blocked. You don't want to do that, Kurt. I don't know. Just say what you want. It's a free country, man. There you go. Okay, let's see. Next up, this is from El Diablo Ramon. Jimmy, what stories, mythologies do aliens tell about themselves? What's their same as us? If I have some strange philosophy, some philosophical thing about this to say, when you go through an evolutionary process, in my opinion, I think that you're going to go through the same stages of everything. You're going to discover fire, right? You're going to figure out how to eat. You're going to figure out how to put a roof over your head. Once you get out of a cave, you're going to go through you're going to discover electricity. You're going to figure out things. You're going to go through the same evolutionary processes. And I think that includes art, music, science, philosophy. All of those things are a part of an evolutionary process as you evolve. Now, the other part about that it would have to be that way. Comedy, right? Theater, film. You're going to go through all of those. And what happens past that, where are we going to be in 10,000 years? I'm not sure. But I do believe that if we went to, so let's say that we went to a planet that is at our stage of development, haven't gone fully interstellar yet, maybe, let's say 100 years ago or 50 years ago. And we go to a planet that's at that stage, Earth in the 1950s, 1960s. And you and I, step off of our flying saucer and kind of take a look around, and we bump into a little kid, and he runs home, and he's going to run in the house and tell his mom and dad, I just saw an alien, where we are the aliens, right? It would be the same thing. That becomes part of their pop culture. And maybe the kid tells the story to the local newspaper. Maybe he takes a picture, right? And so would they have the same sort of processes, the hero's journey, in theater and film and the writing of, if you go back and you think about the Odyssey, Lord of the Rings, right? Whatever. These stories, Hansel and Gretel, Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare, where these creative processes and folklore are handed down, I would imagine it would be nearly exactly the same as us, because every culture here doesn't matter. Japan, China, right? Africa, North America, Central America, Europe, right? The UK. It doesn't matter. Pick a country. They all have the same stories that have been handed down from generation to generation, way before the telephone and way before even written languages. So, but the cultures share these same stories and mythologies. So, yeah, I would say that it's probably very close to the same. Absolutely. Let's see. Next up, Jim Smith. He says, Jimmy, would you talk more about that ear thingy that was removed? Oh, man. I haven't thought about that in a while. I had, it was my left ear. I had a thing going on with it. I thought it was an infection. Okay. And this went on for about almost 2 years. It was frustrating. It was gnarly. There were people that could sit next to me and could hear my ear doing, you could hear it externally, and I could hear it obviously inside of my head. And I'm on the radio, I'm doing TV, I'm doing conferences, and I had this going on. I had tons of people look at it, including I went to 3 different doctors. I was prescribed antibiotics and things. And I had people with lasers go in and try to disinfect. And I had all these treatments and nothing worked. And how it ended was this. It was a bizarre thing. And I kept going back to the same ear doctor and for about, it was probably about 6 months going through treatment with him. Great facility, great, ear, nose, and throat office, and very busy place. He was really good, but he couldn't figure out the issues and was constantly trying different things. And then on this last day, this is how it ended. And I'm not making this up. So I went in and they put a camera in my ear, it was like a fiber camera, real thin wire with a camera on the end and a light. That was pretty trippy too as well. So anyway, they stick this in, and also on the same day, they put a bunch of sensors around my glued on, and were playing sounds through this, and I was listening versus left and right, and it wasn't really affecting my hearing, but they were kind of 3D mapping all of this. Anyway, so they put this camera in my ear and do a bunch of photography. And I'm in the exam room. Doctor comes in and he goes, I want to show you something. And he pulls it up on the TV screen in front of me. And he says, we found it. I said, what is it? It's right there. Now, so I'm looking at a giant blow up of my ear, and the opening to the ear canal on the inside is a black circle. But down at the bottom of it is a little tiny white dot. All right. He shows me the picture of my right ear. There's no white dot. And he goes, that's it. We found it. I said, okay. And he goes, we're going to remove that. I said, okay. All right. So we prepped for that. And I could feel him poking around. He's got, assistants, and he's got this big thing and he's doing, and I feel it get removed. And it's a hard thing to explain, but if you've ever had stitches and it's time to have the stitches removed, and you go into the doctor and they pull the stitches out, right? You maybe haven't had it done, but I've had it done a few times in my life. There's a feeling that is there as they're pulling out the threads from the stitches, and it's kind of like this itchy, it's kind of gratifying, but you feel it doesn't hurt, but it's like this itchy feeling as you feel the stitches pull out. It felt like that, like this itchy, scratchy thing. And I hear it crackling in my ear. And he pulls it out and he goes, there it is. And it was about that long. And it was white fiber. It's the best way I can explain it. I didn't see the end of it. I didn't keep it, but it was long. It was probably an inch and a half long of this fibery material, white. And it was over. After 2 years, it's gone. And I mean, I jumped up. I think I danced. And I was so, after 2 years of this, 2 years, I'm talking about just crazy things, having to put up with this. And I kept waiting, expecting it to come back. Like I was going to walk out of the office and go, oh no, it's back. No. And I went down and I got in the car and I'm driving and I know I'm smiling ear to ear. It's gone. It's over. It's finished. That night in bed, I could sleep, and that was it. Now, I don't know. He said it appeared to be fungus, and he was going to have it tested and get back to me. I was like, you know what? It's over. It's done. And the other strange thing about this, he said, well, this explains why the medication didn't work, why the antibiotics didn't work. He gave me other stuff and vitamin. I was on all kinds of stuff. Nothing worked. Nothing. And yeah. Alien implant, maybe. I don't know. But it was just, and it was like imagine taking, I'll tell you what it looked like. If you took like a Q-tip and you pulled off the end of the Q-tip and you had a long wad of cotton in you, that's what it looked like. That's exactly what it looked like long fibrous cotton. And it was about that big, maybe that big around. Yeah. And what he showed me in the picture was the end of it, the tip of it. So that what was behind it, oh man. And it's kind of gross in a weird way, knowing that, that was in my ear for that long. So don't know what caused it. I've been fine ever since. And it's probably been 4 years. I had it at Soltech. Jonathan, I was just talking about Soltech. Soltech was a miserable it was a great conference, but I had that in my ear the whole time. So there you go. All right. I can't believe I just told that story. I don't think I've ever shared it in that kind of detail. Okay, let's see. Who is up next? All right. This is from Brian. Brian, Jimmy, why do you think the Georgia Guidestones were destroyed? By some religious fundamentalist that didn't understand what it was and decided to go and blow something up. Yep, that's what I think. What was cool about the Georgia Guidestones? Now, I understand, what it said, and it was mysterious and all of. Look, we don't know who built it, we don't know who paid for it, and we don't know why. Don't know. So why blow that up? Just leave it. It wasn't hurting anybody. But You're going to have some fundamentalist, some religious fanatic that is going to put a label on it. Who knows what goes through people's minds? But it bothered somebody to the point where they put a bomb together, or bombs, drove out there and blew it up. That's crazy. And then the other part to it was that before everything was just kind of like, detectives and things, and they just went and bulldozed it and tore it down and pulled it out. So we'll never know. Yeah. And I'll tell you the other strange things about Ken was just fired from The Intercept. Is that right? Ken Clippin Puffer was fired. Yeah, we'll see. All right. If somebody's got some more facts on that, let me know. All right. Jessica Rodriguez has another question. Do you think what has happened over the years of Star Trek was a secret space program? Oh, wait. Okay. It's the same question. She asked it twice, and all right. This is from Ice Sphere. Would you ride a bike more if nobody could see it? No, I don't care. Yeah, man, I used to do a lot of mountain biking, a lot of downhill. I had the full suspension, man, I loved it. But that was back when I had spare time. Now I've got a magnetic bike up in my gym, and that's good enough. And I can watch Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch while I'm riding that. Or I watch two things when I work out: Ancient Aliens or The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. Oh, it's my guilty pleasure to have Robert Clotworthy get me through my workout. But I love my magnetic bike. I have a stationary magnetic bike. It's quiet. It's smooth. And yeah, I enjoy it. It's not my favorite part of working out. Actually, it's my least favorite. But just as long as I have something on the big screen in front of me, I can get through it. I don't mind riding bikes. I don't. I used to have. I left it. I didn't bring it with me when I did the split. But I had a little electric bike called a swag cycle. People have seen videos of it. It's like this big, little tiny wheels, little. I'm serious. The whole bike was like this long. It was like 2 feet with little tires, but it was fast. It went like 30 miles an hour, and little handlebars. I had a little cup holder on it, and I put some other stuff. I'll ride that thing around my neighborhood. No shame in my game. I got to get me another swag cycle. There are electric bikes out there, but they're big. The swag cycle was tiny. It was like this tall. I'm not kidding. A little electric bike that did 30 miles an hour. Suicidal. Man, I love that thing. My neighbors would just watch me whiz by. I wasn't even doing anything. There was no purpose to it. I would just ride it around the neighborhood and take laps. Oh, that thing was so much fun. Loved it. All right. Let's see. Who is up next? All right. Next, Joe says, what are your thoughts on Zahi Hawass? Is he hiding discoveries? I don't think so. I don't think he's hiding. He's got a new documentary out where he found another pyramid. He found the base of it. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good documentary. Zahi gets his funding from Nat Geo and other, television production companies. They pay for and fund him and his expeditions. So, no, I don't think it's in his best interest to keep things hidden. That's where his money comes from. What he does keep, okay, I'm not here to piss people off, and I'm not here to talk smack, but I will talk facts. Zahi doesn't want other people to be in the spotlight. He wants to be the center of attention. So if somebody else discovers something, he's not going to talk about it. No, he's not. And if there are things like the tunnels underneath the Great Pyramid, He's in denial about that. He's in denial about Göbekli Tepe. He insists that he's never heard of it because it wasn't his discovery, and it goes against the grain of what he's about. That's what he does hide. He doesn't support other people. It's always got to be about Zahi. But if he's making the discovery and his team is about it, you're going to hear about it. Yeah. Now, does he know secrets? Possibly. Does he know stuff about Egypt that isn't necessarily disclosed? There's a possibility to that. But I don't think he's hiding, because that's how he gets funded. Yeah, he wants that stuff out. That stuff gets views and clicks, and it feeds his explorations, and of course his own personal bank account. So yeah. Ken Clippin Puffer was in a Spaces with John Greenwald, the Black Vaults. Okay, what did he announce that he got fired? Yes, it's true. Okay, wow, didn't know. Let's see, Cruz. No question from you for Jimmy tonight. Oh, Renee Cruz. Isn't that funny? Okay, let me keep going. I've got a bunch of stuff marked here. Oh, here's Renee Cruz. While in Peru, can you please search for the Peruvian extraterrestrial aliens and get to the bottom of it all? This is a crazy story. And Christina Gomez and I covered it earlier today. It's all over it's all over the Peruvian news. It's certainly lit up Twitter, X, and I'll never get used to that. I think Twitter's always going to be Twitter. Something going on down in Peru, a little village in the Amazon on a river in the San Antonio. There's a specific way to say it, region of Peru. A small village, and they are saying that they are being attacked by 7-foot tall green aliens since July 11th. A 15-year-old girl says she was kidnapped and had her throat cut. She escaped, got back, said it's 7-foot tall aliens. I've seen the videos. They're shooting, man. It's something's going on down there. I don't know. I doubt that that's not the part of Peru I'm going to be in, but high strangeness going on in Peru, and I'm going to stay on top of this story. All right, this is from Louise. Louise said, Jimmy, will you have Dolly Saffron on your show? She is a contactee who is very informative, has full memories, and piloted an ET craft. Louise, send me an email, send me her contact information. I'll pass that on to my producers. We will make contact. That sounds very interesting. Send me some more information. I haven't heard about this case. So, yeah, send me the information, and I will pass it on, and we will get something set up. That is very interesting. There's nothing scarier than your own shadow when you're least expecting it. Yamagishi-san. That's pretty funny. Don't sleep with the closet doors open. Really? That sounds like absolutely great advice. Jimmy, can you play Stairway to Heaven for us? Absolutely not. And I haven't played Stairway to Heaven probably since I was 15. We have strict rules in the music community about that. I want one of Jimmy's guitars, James, to play itself during the show. Okay, that reminds me of, this really happened. So, in like 3 studios ago in the bunker, after the show wrapped. So remember, I have soundproofing in here. That's soundproofing on that. There's soundproofing on every wall in here. I'm not going to take the camera down and show everybody, but I have acoustic panels mounted to the wall. I've got an acoustic ceiling installed, panels sound. This is very thick covering over the wall, right? So everything in here is soundproof. So at the end of the show, like right now, I have a fan on down there. You could probably hear it. There's a fan, but because it's 110 degrees outside right now. But anyway, so when the show ends and I pull the headphones off and you sit in here, it's quiet. Like there's nothing. You don't hear anything. And so I'm sitting, and now at the end of each show, everybody, I've got a few things I've got to do. Got to pull files down. I edit the commercials out. That gets uploaded into our podcast format, and then everything also gets sent over to Drew for the membership area. Things are done, and so I work for another 90 minutes after each show. You guys just think I'm off goofing around after the show. I'm not. I'm in here working. So, but at that moment when I take off the headphones and I set them down and I sit, it's silence. Okay, music is over. It's just silent. And I'm sitting in the bunker, and then from behind me, where there are guitars on the wall, I hear this. Let me turn the microphone. It's what I hear. And now my back is too. I'm like, what was that? Something strummed one of my guitars. I mean, just like that. And I turn around, and so I'm looking on the floor. Did something fall or hit? There's nothing that could have done it. In order to do it, you would have to do what I just did. Turn around and strum a guitar. Like that. And it only happened once. I again, those kind of paranormal experiences like that. I know I sound crazy when I say, hey, it happened. That's all I can say. I don't know what caused it. Hopefully it was just something that I guess moved across, fell. Maybe I knocked something with the chair and I pulled something over. I didn't see any evidence of anything. So I don't know. But that happened. Yeah, it happened. All right, let's see. Carol Stacy, white looks yellow on your screens. Oh, the yellow guitar. So you're talking about that? This guitar, this is what you're talking about. This guitar is one of my favorite guitars, actually. Well, they're all my favorites. But this one is my Aliens Built Earth guitar. It's a Kramer. It's a Kramer Star. You can see it. It's an original. No Floyd. Very light, by the way. I've completely customized this thing. The neck is shimmed. The headstock, which is natural wood, you can see that. That's a wood there. It was painted white. I stripped that off and put a new Kramer logo on it because Eddie, originally with the Kramer Pacers, they had a natural headstock. So anyway, so I stripped it off. So that's natural wood. You can see it matches. This is white. I pulled that off, redid everything. The only everything on this has been modified. It's got Seymour Duncans in here. The pots have been replaced. This is the pickup switch, which is weird. It's a mini toggle instead of a big one, which I dig. But no vibrato, and that's it. It's a basswood body, very light, It's a very, very, very light guitar. There's not much wood here at all, but there it is. And is there a chunk? What's that white? Oh, there was a ding on the back. That's a screw. There's a couple of screws on the back plate, but that's it. That's my Kramer Star. All original. My Aliens. Check it out. Aliens Built Earth. There you go. All right. So that's what that guitar is. It's white, not yellow. Okay. I think it's the one on his left shoulder. Is this? Yeah, that's it. We finally got that figured out. Okay. This is from Alexander. Who is your trifecta of favorite bands of all time? Mine is Rush, Led Zeppelin, and Tool. Can't go wrong with that, Alexander. But man, that's tough. So my trifecta, man. I'm going to go Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Van Halen. That would be my trifecta. But man, you've got Judas Priest. You've got Rush, right? So many. Deep Purple. Man, how could you not have Deep Purple on that list? On and on and on, right? That's tough. Pantera. Oof, man. How do you wiggle around that? But if I had to have three, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Van Halen. Three-way tie, by the way. There's no way around that. Yeah. So my trifecta, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Van Halen. Best albums from each band. Okay, so for Led Zeppelin, I'm going to go with newer Zeppelin instead of older Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin 4, classic album, right? No question about it. But Physical Graffiti, pretty good, man. In Through the Outdoor, oof. And then you have the soundtrack from Song Remains the Same. But so that's tough, man. Led Zeppelin 3, oof. Physical Graffiti, so that's a tough call. Best album from Black Sabbath, I'm going to go Sabotage on that. But Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, amazing. Paranoid, amazing. The first album, amazing. Technical Ecstasy is an amazing album. Never Say Die is their last album, is amazing. So, and then you got the Ronnie James Dio era. So Heaven and Hell. I listened to Heaven and Hell the other day, the song, and I was driving. How excellent that was. But anyway, probably Sabotage is my favorite. And then Van Halen, I'm Van Halen 2. Women and Children First, pretty good. Diver Down, pretty good. 1984, pretty good. But I'm going Van Halen 2. So there you go. There's my trifecta and their albums. Okay, let's see. This is from Mina. Off topic. New TV show called UFO Cowboys. What? UFO Cowboys? Are you talking about? Wait a minute. UFO Cowboys. 2003, one season. Wow. What? Follows a group of ranchers known as the Cowboy Skywatcher. They investigate extraterrestrial encounters. Okay, I'm going to check that out. This is 2023. Don't know. I haven't heard about it. Thank you for that. And I'm actually going to write this one down. I have not heard of UFO Cowboys. Okay, UFO Cowboys. I'm going to check it out. That sounds like that's a winner right there. Okay, looking at the clock. Let me get two. Man, these are great questions tonight. These are just great questions. I think this is Teddy Boren. Teddy says, Jimmy, do you plan to make another trip to Mount Shasta? I am. So the short answer to that is yes. It's not going to happen this year because 2023 is booked up. Booked up. I thought I had December off. Nope. I was working towards having December off and getting there. No, it's not the case now. December just got booked. I am going to be. Should I tell you? I'll save it. What are your thoughts? Yeah, Pat Boone in a metal mood. Thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you for that. This is Charlie. Charlie says, what are your thoughts on the passing of Robbie Robertson? Heartbroken. 80 years old, man. That guy lived the life. What I liked about Robbie, there was so many things going on about Robbie Robertson that he was the complete package. Number one, he looked good playing the guitar. Telling you, man, he had the look. He's a good-looking guy, but he had this thing, and the instrument was part of him. And when he was on, watch The Last Waltz, man, I think that's Scorsese directed that film. Robbie had a way of looking like what you wanted to be as a guitar player. So he had that. And then there was this other dude had a songwriting ability second to none. And for him to play with Ronnie Hawkins and the Hawks, where that's why Lee Von Helm, and his relationship with Lee Von Helm, not only one of the great drummers of all time, but one of the greatest singers of all time. And their relationship and the way that they were able to write together, it's a very rare thing. It's when you have the fortunate situation where two great minds come together and you gel like that. And then, Rick Danko and everything else, the way that the band came together. Dude toured when Bob Dylan went electric, freaked out the world, went from acoustic guitar to electric, did that electric. Who does he pick, man? Robbie Robertson. And Robbie was just somebody that I looked up to since I was a kid. And I remember when The Last Waltz came out, that was like 1977, right around the time Star Wars came out, Last Waltz came out. And the movie theater on the Army base that I lived on at the time, I think it was 25 cents, 50 cents to go see a movie. I went, The Last Waltz played at our movie theater. Everything played for 2 weeks. I went and watched it every day. Yeah, with me and my friends. And I was just mesmerized at the excellence of Robbie Robertson. The new documentary that was released last year that I think he directed it or wrote most of it. It's his production, is a must watch, and listen to him tell the stories of the band and how they got together. And man, they moved to Woodstock, got a house, put a studio in it, rehearsed there, and started recording all of those great songs. All of that came out of Woodstock, New York. So anyway, I'm very sad, but he did 80 years, man. 80 years. Died of an illness. Don't know really what took him down, but you make it to 80 and it's anything. This is Free Your Mind. Pat Boone, In a Metal Mood. That's exactly what that was. Thank you for posting that. Let me get some more in. Is that right? Hold on a minute. Marjorie Icky said when Pat Boone did the hard rock album, his next door neighbor was Ozzy, and he put him up to it. Is that a fact? I wouldn't doubt it. Really? See, that's how cool Pat Boone is. So I'm wondering, is that a fact? That sounds like something something that I would make up. Okay. PC, aka also known as Paul, says, Jimmy, what's your opinion on the end of the Ice Age comet impact or some kind of solar event? Yes. Did you guys hear that? You hear that? Sounded like a slap. Like, no, not that kind of sound. Like a crack. Did you guys hear that? I can't scroll to the end here. Yeah, it was definitely something like that. Here's that. Okay, let me just say this. I don't think that there's any question that pollution in the impact of humanity in this modern era is having its effect on climate change. It's contributing to it. But we have gone through cycles. I don't know how many ice ages we've gone through. I don't know how many mass extinction events we have gone through. I think the latest number is 6. It's probably more than that. The earth has been frozen. The earth has been hot. The earth has been molten. It's been liquid. It's been dry. It's been wet, all without humans. So I'm not saying that what is going on is a natural thing, but it could be a combination of both. But the last ice age, there was no electricity that we know of. So I don't know. But yeah, I definitely think that there was a solar, something external influence that, no doubt. Okay, let's see. Shermanator Osborne, are you going to eat a guinea pig in Peru? Don't tell me that they do that. Ugh. Please. Now they're saying that Ken wasn't fired, that it was a joke. Okay. Yeah. See, I want yo 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 from Edward Truitt. Yo yo yo, back to you. The Keep Ace film music by Tangerine Dream. Tangerine Dream, they were soundtrack masters back then. They did a lot of films. All right, let's see. Man, I've got time for maybe I'm just blazing through. I'm stopping. Wilton Maxey, have you ever had Bob Lazar as a guest? No. Let me say this. Years ago, it's about 10 years ago, I wrote Bob. And at that time, I know it's not the case today, but at that time, you could go to his website, and there it was, man, his email. It's like 10 years ago. So I click on it, open it up. Bob, Jimmy Church. You know, I'm doing this. Would love to have you on as a guest. He writes me back. I still have the emails. We wrote each other like 3 times, back and forth. He writes, what would I talk about? I write him back. Your life, look, you've been gone. Remember at this time, right? You've been gone for 15, 20 years. Let's talk about what you've been up to and whatever. He writes, nah, it's boring. Write him back, not that. No, come on, Bob. I think it'd be a great show. Let's just talk. It doesn't have to be about anything specific. Writes me back, no, I'm just out of it. I'm out of the whole thing. And that's a past life, and I'm not interested. And so let's just leave it where it is. And I wrote him back. So we had like 3 or 4. Wrote him back. No, Bob, I think you got this wrong. Let's get you on the show. And he wrote me back. Nah, I'm private, man. I'm not interested in talking about UFOs or ET or anything. I said, okay, all right. And that was the end of it. So I met him after that, but him and that the weaponized guy, they're just joined at the hip. And so I think that is where that's at. We want Ronnie Dawson back. That's a great idea, Edward Truitt. I'm going to reach out to Ronnie and I'll get him on the show. Man, next week is a great week, by the way. So, okay, now caps lock. Okay, there's no caps here. Jimmy, you grew up in and around the Chicago area. Have you ever been to a place called Old Chicago? I have not. Everyone flood the comments with Ronnie Dawson. Oh man. All right. Jimmy, how you doing? I'm doing good. How you doing? Bring Ronnie Dawson back. Okay, yeah, you guys definitely lit it up. Ronnie Dawson, 19 inches. Ronnie Dawson, 19 inches. I'll never forget Linda Moulton Howe's face when that went down. I was watching her. That was a funny moment. Yes, okay, Ronnie Dawson. I'll get him on. There's 100 comments about Ronnie Dawson. He's great. Ronnie Dawson's great. Looking at the clock, we're almost out of time. I only got a minute left. I know I'm scrolling past questions and things. Do you have any unexplained missing time? Officially, well, actually, I do. I've had a few different things, but do you use Q-tips to clean your ear? I do not. I do not. Nothing goes in my ears, man. Not anymore. No. No, my ears are off limits to everything. I'm so paranoid after what I went through. Yes, okay. There's 150 comments here about Ronnie Dawson. 19 inches. Okay. No Stairway to Heaven. Yeah, that's right. It's from Peggy Jones. I'll squeeze this one in. Peggy Jones. And Jimmy, any instruments you've ever wanted to learn to play but haven't? You know, I always wanted to learn how to play the drums, but I can't figure it out. Always wanted to play keyboard. You know what I do with drums? If I need a sample or I need a lick, I'll record that one part. Bum, 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 bum. And then that goes in. That's it. But I can't play the drums. I can't. It's weird. And it's the same thing with piano. See, I can't get the left-right thing down with keyboards. It's weird. So to play a chord, I'll play one note at a time on a guitar, and then I'll pick out the notes and I'll figure out the chord and I'll play what I need to have played on a keyboard. That's it. You know, and with guitar, I'll show you something. Like with guitar, I can, on the guitar, I can play anything, you know. I can do all of that. I can play anything with two hands. Play any, you know, I can do anything. I can do anything that I want on the guitar. But I can't convert that to the key. I can't play keyboards. Isn't that a weird thing? And drums, I can't, but yet with the guitar, I can do anything that I want with it. And I can think, I can separate left and right, and I can play anything. But I can't flip the guitar over and play it backwards. Right? No, I can't. No, it's weird. It's like the weirdest thing, man. I don't know. It's bizarre. It's a bizarre situation. So no. Bass and guitar, I've got down. All right. We are at the end of the show. Let me scroll. I'll squeeze in one Jimmy, who gets the show after you're gone? Yeah, I've thought about that. I need to pass it on to somebody. So let's see. One more. I'm gonna pull something random. I'm just gonna scroll. Oh, it's an El Diablo. Okay, this is a random scroll. Jimmy, who do you like better, Sabbath with Ozzy or Dio? With Ozzy. But that's a tough one, though, because some of the stuff with Dio was extraordinary, and Sabbath was writing some of their best material. But there is nothing like Ozzy with, man, go and listen to Sabotage, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Black Sabbath, Volume 4. Man, it's still Technical Ecstasy, Sabotage, Never Say Die. Go listen to those. That Ozzy, no. And I love Ronnie. And look at Ronnie's solo albums. Look what Ronnie did with Rainbow, right? All of that stuff. Dio, probably Dio, not now. See, Ozzy with Sabbath, that was a combination of things. Dio's voice, Dio as a singer, probably the most rock and roll voice ever. I'm just going to go on the record and say that. If I could put a band together and audition singers, I would want somebody that sounded like Ronnie James Dio. That tone, that rock and roll thing. Graham Bonnet had it too, as well. Still does. But that rock and roll thing, Ronnie Dio might be the best. Yeah, ever. And with that, that's going to wrap this show. An emergency AMA. That was totally awesome. You guys are the absolute very best. Now, I'm gonna go to work all weekend. Got my new console. I'm gonna rewire the studio and clean things up. I got too many cables. I got cables that I don't even know where they go now. So I'm gonna unplug everything and replug it back in. It's going to be a great weekend. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Hoffman, A. Newman, and Michelle Freed. Thank you to Dennis and Kevin, Webmaster of Screw the Geek Music, Doug Aldridge, Intro, Space Boys, SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and this broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2023 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, download, the copy, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. I'm going to give a turn. I'll see everybody on Monday. We've got an amazing week. We've got some surprises next week. Get ready for that. But until then, I want everybody to be safe. Go back, leave happy. Thank you.